for someone who's a rigid, Vipassana is not good. Vipassana as a technique, because Vipassana denies the body of experience, and it's more control. So in a Vipassana, you can't get up and scream and shake and carry on, which you might want to. So I see Vipassana is another form of control. For someone who uses it for long term, it's not healthy. Like anyone who comes to me who's either rigid or has a schizoid injury, I don't recommend Vipassana.
Do you define schizoid injury?
Yeah, a schizoid injury is someone who escapes into their mind to escape from reality. Yeah, but like everyone's got all 5 types.
Yeah. Can you go through the 5 types and tell us what they are?
Sure. So the 5 types you've got.
This is characterology, right?
Characterology, yeah. Wilhelm Reich, cool. Alexander Lowen. So you've got the 5 types are orality, schizoid,
morality,
orality,
yeah,
oral, O-R-A-L, oral.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, and then you got the masochist or the endurer. Then you have the rigid, and then you have the psychopath.
That's 4, no?
Well, the oral, intuitive. Did I say intuitive?
No, you didn't mention intuitive.
Okay, intuitive, cool. So there's a schizoid. The schizoid is the intuitive. So schizoid / intuitive.
Yeah.
So each one of these defenses has its own body shape pattern. So they appear physically first. And then they have defensive relating abilities too. So they have a particular way of how they relate to other people and relate to themselves. But everyone's got all 5. Like when you're born, you have like all 5, and then as you grow up, each one becomes dominant, and then you might have a secondary dominant. But then then how you want to approach into remembering who you are, you deal with the most present defense. So sometimes rigidity is the most present defense, and then when that goes, sometimes schizoid will appear, and then you look at that one, and then when schizoid goes, masochism appears, and it goes down the line until you feel the most you, and there's nothing else left. You're just you. There's no more defenses. You're so aware of your defenses. It's just you.
Is that individuation at that point?
That's individuation.
Right, and we can go into what that means, but I wanted to touch on those 5 types. You said there's a physical, and then there's manifestations in your own life. So with the orality, what's the physical for that? Can you describe someone who's, and what do you mean by physical? Do you mean their body?
Yeah, so orality physically, so their eyes, straight away their eyes look like they're hungry. Like they want to, who's in our life that's an oral? Okay.
Give me a celebrity, and we'll show. I'll look him up right now.
Okay, let's go. Oral celebrity.
I can't think of one. It's cool.
No. Who's the guy that did Walter Schmitty? Who's the
Walter Schmitty?
Overtalker.
Walter what?
No. Someone who's an overtalker who talks to. I think it was show host.
Jordan Peterson.
Not really. He does have it, but not as. He's more rigid schizoid than orality.
Let's go to other ones, and then you can maybe tell us about those ones afterwards. So let's go with masochist, and what are their physical? Give me like a celebrity for them.
All right, the masochist, dude. All right, so you've got Tim. Who's that comedian? Tim. Chubby people are masochists. So, who's a
Tim
masochist?
Minchin?
Tim, not Tim Minchin. No, he's rigid.
It's all good, man. No stress.
No, I'm being rigid, bro. He's a comedian.
Give me who's Donald Trump? Which one's Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is a psychopath.
Okay.
With masochistic.
But define that, because psychopath is different in this context.
Oh, totally. So this is old German. This is old German technology. So old German language. Right? So Trumpy. So psychopathy appears in him. Any picture of Trumpy. So he's masochistic. So he's
Can you see my screen?
That's a great. I can see your screen. Yeah. So how it appears is his body shape is it's more rectangular, but if you look wider at him, he's got a bit of a belly. So he's got a masochistic psychopathy. So psychopathy needs two types in order to work.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got masochism and rigidity.
Wow.
So what a psychopath does is they've got like great, love it. They've got what's known as like a cobra type energy, and when you step on them, when you get in their way, this thing will come. It'll lunge at you. It'll be really intimidating. Tony Robbins has this. He's much more of a rigid psychopath. Tony Robbins, like his body shape is more triangular.
They have similar body shapes, these two.
Yeah. Who else?
It's a very rigid meditation position.
Yeah. And it's performative. Like rigids are really performative, right? You can tell straight away it's performative, right? Like it's a performance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh well, holy crap! I did not search for Tony Robbins and Donald Trump, but here they are together.
Yeah.
So
the typical wounding for if I was working with either two of these guys in a professional setting, I would need to build their trust first.
Yeah.
So someone who has this injury, they're looking for betrayal. Any smell of betrayal, they'll like get rid of you. So trying to get on either of these guys' good side or being able to be trusted by them would be an effort. So they would continuously test your trust to see if you're trustworthy. And you can see that in Donald Trump's entourage, he's always giving people the flick. The minute he thinks that they're betraying him, out of his whatever it is that's there.
But is that more a practical thing in the sense of like, hey, like he's just been in that position so many times before because he's a celebrity, right? Isn't every celebrity going to be like that?
Yes and no. So I think if you enter celebrity status, you're going to assume that people only want to love you because you're a celebrity. And this is like
Kanye West.
Like Kanye, and this is the rigid piece. So because rigids don't trust who they are and they don't feel that they're lovable at the core, they believe everybody loves them for what they do for them.
Yeah.
So, you don't love me for who I am. You just love me because I'm a musician. I'm the president. I'm Tony Robbins. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that. You didn't actually love me for who I am because I don't know who I am because I pretended to be something for most of my life.
Oh, wow. That's huge, man. That's really huge because a lot of people feel that way. That's not a rare thing. That's not like a, how would you say, like off the cuff thing. Like, a lot of people feel that way. Like, do you really love me? Do you really love me?
You do, and it's a rigid injury. So they might not have the body shape of the rigid, but it's a rigid injury that happens usually in the teenage years where the betrayal that occurs in early childhood, the pattern continues and it really solidifies in the teenage years.